everyone, welcome to another Stitches and Scribbles tutorial. Today we're going to be crocheting a tiny little pumpkin. I actually have a sample of this one because I just had to make one for myself before I did one for the video. So this is what we're making today. It's a super easy pattern. I've seen a lot of variations of this on YouTube already, so I hope I'm not duplicating anybody else's, but I have my own method for doing this. The yarns I'm using today are Red Heart Super Saver in, I believe the color name is actually Pumpkin, but a bright orange. And I would recommend using the same type of yarn for your stem, but I don't have another Super Saver right now, so this is actually the Hirschner's Worsted 8 in the Christmas green color that I purchased in their Christmas pack a while ago. But any worsted weight yarn or yarn of your choice, as long as you match your hook, will do just fine. I am using a, what is it, a 4.5 hook today. This is my brand new hook that I just got, so I'll probably feature it in a haul. But it actually lights up so that you can crochet in the dark, which I thought was very appropriate for Halloween season. You're going to start with a slip knot, and you're going to chain 10. Stitches across, pretty small. Now we're going to single crochet all the way across. Just regular single crochets for the first row. Alright, one row done. For our remaining rows, we're still going to do single crochet, but we're going to do it in the back loops only. So you can see how each little single crochet stitch makes a V on top. We're going to insert our hook only into the far side of the V, but otherwise it's a normal single crochet. So again, insert only into the far side of the V and go all the way across in that manner. Alright, and that's what creates the ribbed effect in our stitches. So as you keep going, you'll start to see ribs forming on either side. You're going to continue the single crochet back loops only until your piece is about twice as long as it is wide. I think I did about 22 rows for my last one. I'll give you my final count when I finish. So go ahead and do back loops only single crochet until your piece is twice as long as it is wide. Alright, I did end up doing 22 rows exactly, and I cut my yarn off with a pretty long tail to use to sew it back up. So now you're going to take a yarn needle or a crochet hook. It doesn't really matter, but I find it's easier with a yarn needle, especially because the size is so small. And you're going to start by seaming your two edges together. I'm just going to do that. And I'm just using a whip stitch for this to keep it nice and simple. just like that. So now you should have a tube. The next thing we're going to do, you can tuck the starting edge inside. We're going to cinch the top of this almost like we would a hat. So the way I'm going to do that is by putting my yarn needle through the top of each of those ridges. So I'm really just inserting it every other row right at the edge. And that's how I'm going to sew it up and cinch it. So again, I'm just sticking it through the top edge of all of those ridges all the way around. Like that. Then you can pull it tight and kind of adjust the shape as needed to make the top of your pumpkin. Once you have cinched it, I would kind of sew back and forth a couple times at the top to really hold it in place. I'm just going back and forth across that center. To make it really tight and secure. Like that. Then I'm going to insert my stuffing into the center. It doesn't really take a lot of stuffing for these little tiny pumpkins. You could even use yarn scraps instead. Like that. Then I'm going to insert my needle up through the middle of the pumpkin, through my filling. And then you're going to do the same thing again at the top that we did at the bottom. So inserting the yarn needle at the tops of those ridges all the way around. Because we're going to cinch the top just like we did with the bottom. And pull the whole thing tight like a drawstring bag, and I'm going to sew those stitches across the top back and forth again, just like I did on the bottom, to really hold it in place. Like that. And then you can create a little knot to seal off your pumpkin. Thread it through the middle and cut off the extra. I'll save that for my stuffing bag. So there is the body of the pumpkin. Now we're going to work on the stem, which is super easy. So start with a slip knot with your green, and you want to keep the tail a little bit on the long side because we're going to have to thread it through the pumpkin. You're going to chain 5, then you're going to put 3 single crochets into each chain. So 15 stitches total. So I have 1, 2, 3, all in the same chain, and then I move on to the next one. This is what's going to give the stem kind of the curled, viney effect. I also like this method because it means I don't have to make another shape to stuff like you would if you made a cylindrical stem. you should have a piece that curls like that. Then cut off your tail, pull it through, and I'm going to use my yarn needle again to thread both ends of the stem through the top of the pumpkin and out through the bottom. So there's one. Do the same. Whoops, we got a split. Do the same thing with the other side. Should be at the top like that. Then at the bottom we're just going to tie a little knot with those two tails. It won't be that noticeable on the finished product, and you want to pull it a little bit to really squish down the shape, like so. Then I'm going to thread them both back through the body of the pumpkin to hide my ends. Put it back through and out. And out. Trim both ends. I like to pull them a little bit so that then they kind of slide back inside. Squish it around a little bit. And there you have your tiny pumpkin. You can totally scale this up if you want a bigger one. All you need to remember is that the length of the crocheted piece needs to be about double the width, and you can obviously change the shape and method used to make the little stem. But that is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you for the next one.